Welcome back, everyone, to your podcast, our podcast, the Popular Side Podcast. On a day when the impossible has happened, when Arsenal have lost at home for the first time this season in any competition.
Yes.
To Man U at home for the first time in 8 years.
Yes.
To Man U in the league for the first time in but for the first time in 3 seasons or whatever.
Yes.
We're joined by Mr. Yinka Yusuf.
Yes, boss.
Playing the part of traitor today in a Man U jersey. If I said I understand it, I would be lying. So explain yourself, young man.
You guys have said I'm
Akin Adekeye, by the way. Go on.
Yes, he is Akin Adekeye. You guys have said I'm a troll, right? I've been labeled a troll. So let me just embrace it then. Yeah? Let me just embrace it. Okay? Since this is the only Man U jersey that I own. And it's one that I like, actually. I don't have any other one. So I said, let me go full trolling on on Arsenal fans and Aki in general this evening. And based on what you told me just before we got on air, do you think it might be deserved? What do you think?
So just before we came on, so Yinka got off social. So I don't do social media to start with. Yinka got off social media,
got off completely
because he knew Arsenal fans are gonna go crazy. I do not like Arsenal fans. I want us to win this league so badly, but I wish we could win it and the fans don't enjoy it because they're joyless, soulless.
But that's what's going on, actually.
People.
They're not enjoying it.
I can't stand them. But I think they're all wrong. I think we'll get into this. We'll reserve a good chunk of time to talk about things that we need to talk about, like how great Man U played. Because unlike the first game of the season where you were all wrong, you were giving them credit for not falling apart. Today they actually played really well, and I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. I think they deserve that, and we need to stop. And by we, I mean the footballing public and the pundits who are not doing us any justice. They need to stop analyzing the result. So I feel like when Arsenal wins, they analyze the performance. When Arsenal doesn't win, because we don't lose, let's keep it real, we've only lost 3 times in all competitions. When Arsenal don't win, they analyze the results and the performance, which I think is just insane. So there's a lot to talk about on that front.
Yes, a lot.
But you ready? Get into it.
I'm ready. Okay,
wait.
Just by the way, this man is snowed in. At home.
Yeah. There is a snowmageddon.
And after they beat Arsenal today, the young man went outside to go and shovel snow.
Life has to continue.
Just like one of our friends that goes outside to go and pick flowers.
No, to water his flowers. He waters his flowers.
To water his flowers. You know yourself. I'm not going to mention your name.
No, life has to go on. So it's
but
so
I'm wondering how those flowers have survived with us now winning all the time, right?
With no water.
With no water.
Oh my God. Okay.
Anyway.
So Yinka, this is what we're going to do. So the first part of our show is actually talking about AFCON again. We were gonna have a guest to come on and talk about this with us, but that didn't work out, partly because of all this disruption with travel and everything going on in the US. But you and I are going to try and do it, and then we'll try and bring him back to do the second half of it together. But we didn't want the week to go without addressing it because it just keeps popping up everywhere. So we've talked about AFCON, the good, the bad, the ugly, but what I want us to focus on, Yinka, is this rising tension between the northern part of Africa and the rest of Africa. So we've talked about some of this already, but trying to set it up I see a lot of, it's black versus not black because they're not white. It's sub-Saharan Africa versus, what would you call it? I don't know, supra-Sahara, whatever it is, because it's really insane. Sahara is not the only desert in Africa. To use it as a demarcating landmark is just insane. Culturally, there's a lot of interrelatedness, and I'm not telling people who study these things anything they don't know already. Sudan and Egypt, what's the difference? And if you're already in Sudan, what's the difference between Sudan and Mauritania? And if you're already in Mauritania, what's the difference between Mauritania and Mali? And if you're in Mali, what's the difference between Mali on one hand and
Senegal,
Cote d'Ivoire and Senegal, to your left or right or whatever, right? So the interconnectedness, it's really crazy. And we haven't even talked about how North Africa became what it became. Right?
Yeah.
Who were the indigenous people who were there before the invasion in the 7th century, before the Arabization, for lack of a better way of putting it, and some have made this into a religious thing, but I would argue it's not really a religious thing. And why would I argue it's not really a religious thing? Senegal, who played Morocco in the final, I'm not going to say 100% Muslim because no country is, but they must be north of 90%.
Yep.
More than Cote d'Ivoire, right?
Yes.
Which has like a sizable non-Muslim population. You know? But Senegal doesn't have a huge non-Muslim population, right?
Yep.
So if you're looking at this as a, religious thing, Islamic thing, they were playing super majority Muslim country.
Yeah, dominantly Muslim country.
So there's a lot there to deal with as well. So if you're looking at it from a purely color of skin situation, how in 2026 are we still supporting countries based on what they look like within Africa? So Inka, there's a lot here. I'll let you pick which one you want to address first, and then we can just discuss it, and we'll see what we can do in the next 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. So I'm not a fan of people politicizing this whole stuff, one. Or two, I'm not a fan of people turning into, it's the Arabs versus the non-Arabs within Africa. I can use that term. No offense to anybody. I can use that term. No offense to anybody. Yeah. And the reason why I say this is simple. We say that crime in a society, crime is rampant, or crime, is everywhere, where two things don't happen. I've told you this before. Number one, there's no punishment when the crime is committed. And number two, the probability of getting caught is very, very low. Yeah? Now, in this case, I'm saying CAF is the police. Now I'm going back to football. CAF is the police. Everything that happened in that tournament is not Morocco's fault. Let me be very, very frank with you. It's not Morocco's fault, right? It is the fault of the people that let them get away with this, and they've been getting away with this for a long, long, long time. And that is CAF. Yeah? That is the honest truth. Yoruba say, Onile ni onigba, agbaro jolohun onile wo. I'll let you translate that for our people, right?
No, you do it. You translate it.
So what that is literally saying is, it is the owner of the house that will make sure that the storm or the flood does not wash his house away. You need to put in checks. You need to protect your house. CAF being the owner of the house in this case, CAF is not protecting its house. Before the game started, or before the tournament started, I had spoken about the shenanigans of the North Africans when it comes to football.
It's true.
When it comes, see, this thing is documented. It's not new. It's not. We've seen it multiple times, and they keep getting away with it. The people that tried to enter that realm was Libya And CAF looked at them, and you too, you want to join them? And they find them and they ban them. That was when they tried to treat Nigeria that way. The way Super Eagles was treated in Libya is not the first time it will happen.
Say more about that.
So this was I think it was the Nations Cup qualifier. It wasn't
Nations Cup qualifier.
It was Nations Cup qualifier, where Nigeria was meant to go to play in was it Tripoli or Benghazi? I'm not sure which one.
It was Benghazi. Nigeria was supposed to go play in Benghazi.
They were supposed to go play in Benghazi, and they told them to divert their flight to a non-functional local airport that the runway could barely even accommodate the plane landing. It was a rough landing for the players. The players were stranded overnight at an abandoned airport with nothing, no food, no network communication, no water, nothing. And Libyans kept on claiming that we are reciprocating what the Nigerians did to us. And we're like, that is absolutely not true. It is absolutely not true.
But what the Nigerians did to them was we're playing in Uyo. For those who don't know Nigeria, Uyo is the capital of Akwa Ibom State. It's one of the few functioning FIFA-approved airports stadiums in Nigeria, which we talked about last week. That's a disaster on its own. And then Libya decided to fly into, was it Port Harcourt?
Yeah.
They flew into Port Harcourt instead of flying into Uyo. And then Nigeria offered to transport them. They said, no, we're going to go by road, which you and I would not travel by road from Port Harcourt.
I will not go by road from Port Harcourt to Uyo.
And this was about 18 months to 2 years ago. Things are worse now. Right. Yeah. So they, even though CAF tried to be accommodating and whatnot and help them with the mistakes they made, that Libya made, they turned this into Nigeria did this to us. So now we will escalate by 200%, and send them to, so that 200%. Was what happened there.
That was what happened. But what happened there is what the typical North African teams will do in Champions League football in Africa on a normal day. Make life difficult, make travel difficult. They even did it for Senegal in the final, right? You saw the pictures of Senegal traveling to Rabat for the final.
So that Senegal were coming from, they were coming from another city.
Or whatever. They were coming from another city. Now, okay, this one I want to be balanced with it, right? Yes.
Because that goes back to your Yoruba proverb. You need to protect your house, right?
Yes.
So let me say what happened, and then we can debate what should have happened. So Senegal got on the train from whatever city they were coming from, where they played their semifinals, as a team, as a squad, as a contingent, and traveled by train to Rabat, right? Now, this is also like a privilege because you couldn't do that in Nigeria. There are no trains.
No, come on, man. There are
you know
trains.
What I mean? But there are no trains. But anyway, and then guess what happened? They were met by a crowd of locals. Knew they were coming, and these guys are descending, the escalator. And the whole place is full of locals. So they felt unsafe. There was no security. So that was what happened. What I think should have happened is, one, the organizing committee, CAF / the local committee should have provided security for your finalists, Senegal, coming to play in the final. In your biggest city. That's number one. Yeah. Number two, you yourself, Senegal, why are you traveling with no security?
Good point. So can I answer both quickly?
Please.
So number one, right? The responsibility for providing security for Senegal is not Senegal's, right?
No.
It is CAF and the host. It is CAF and the host. The responsibility for transporting Senegal, right? Whoever said Senegal should get on the train where every team had a bus, a massive tour bus with security that transports them everywhere. I was in Fes. When Tunisia came to play in Fes, it was a Friday. No, I think the game was on Saturday. The Friday, the Jumat mosque that I went to pray, and if people don't know, I am Muslim. The Jumat mosque that I went to pray, the Tunisian national team prayed there.
And
their bus was there. The security was there. This is in Fes before they played Nigeria. So somebody dropped the ball somewhere, getting Senegal to travel, or it might be Senegal themselves that said we don't want to
go by train.
But CAF should insist that this is not how we do stuff when it comes to this kind of tournament, right? You don't do this. You follow the rules, the format. Super Eagles went by bus to Rabat.
Yeah.
You know, so those are part of the antics. Which I said some things happened that CAF shouldn't have allowed, but because Morocco was doing CAF a favor, I would continue to hammer on this. CAF let a lot of things slide for them. That's the honest truth.
So Yinka, you mentioned that favor last week. Yes. Again, in case someone is watching this and doesn't watch us regularly or didn't watch last week, what Yinka is talking about is, so for better or worse, the North Africans within the African context have better resources, better stadiums, better airports.
Yes.
They're better. Like we've mentioned several cities in Morocco. Okay. All the cities we're mentioning are great tourist locations.
Yes.
Right? They have international standard airports. Right?
Yes.
So Morocco can literally, within a couple months, stand up a world-class event like the AFCON. So that's happened on the women's side. It's happened on the men's side, where on the men's side, there were 2 countries they were supposed to host. They dropped the ball. They kept failing inspections. So they either dropped out or FIFA kicked them out. And there was a scramble for who is going to host. And Morocco was like, okay, fine, we'll do it again. So Morocco will host like 3 tournaments within like a 10-year period, right? Both men and women. And that should not be happening, you know, but the reason it's happening is because CAF is dropping the ball. Other African countries are dropping the ball. Governments, where appropriate, are not stepping in. So these are all things that you can't get on a 3-minute Instagram video, but that's the reality of what's happening on the ground.
That's the truth. And to go to this, Morocco spent billions of dollars upgrading their respective stadia to get to the standard that we saw. So the first stadium that Super Eagles played in wasn't like that before. It was upgraded. The pitch was redone. The stands, the express road that leads to the place, everything was redone. Infrastructure within FES itself, right, was redone. So the way I look at it is this, in terms of operation logistics, in terms of stadium and infrastructure, in terms of security and safety, even in terms of hospitality, right? Give it to the Moroccans. They hosted a good tournament. I was in FES for 3 weeks, with my family. At no point in time did I feel one kind or were they not welcoming, right? So when people say, oh, that's the North Africans, I'm like, I typically don't like generalization. Even when they say Arabs, I don't like generalization. I've gone for Hajj and I've gone for Umrah multiple times. Yeah. And at every point in time, at the minimum, I spend 2 weeks where I go to, right? And so I've interacted with a number of Arabs. These guys are okay. They are hospitable. They're not, do you understand? I don't feel inferior while I'm there. I didn't feel inferior while I was in Morocco. I stayed in 2 different hotels. Those guys were absolutely welcoming. I enter a cab. I told you this. I enter a cab. They don't understand English as much. But when they say, oh, Nigeria, they say, oh, Morocco, Nigeria, inshallah, semi-final. And I tell them, oh, Nigeria win. They say, no, Morocco win. So their hospitality ends where the competition starts. When you get on the field, we will do anything to win, right? Which is why I said the people that tolerated them and the people that I blame will be CAF, right? Because you mentioned something last week. If they give Nigeria the same opportunity, we'll do worse.
I know this.
Exactly.
I know this.
Exactly.
You know, Anyika, that is a great segue, right? So, like I said, because of let me put it this way, the difference in skin tone, right?
Yes.
This thing, and because this is 2026, this thing takes on outsized influence, if that makes sense, right? But there's 2 things we must talk about. Yes. One, we must talk about the current leadership of CAF. The current president of CAF is South African. There's a major change that he made, which is worse than anything Okay, we're speaking as West Africans now, you and me. Okay, is worse than anything North Africa has done as a group, as individual countries, to countries in West Africa football wise. We're going to talk about that real quick. And then two, we're going to talk about the rest of Africa, how we're treated when we go into other parts of Africa that is not North Africa. So actually, let me start with the second one, Yinka. We have the privilege of having attended the last two editions of CAF, right?
Yes.
So the 2026 edition, which started in 2025 in December, and then in Morocco. But you were also there for the 2024 edition 2 years ago in Cote d'Ivoire. And you did a whole video about this, right? On our podcast. Yinka, they flung the gates wide open. They didn't honor your ticket, right?
No.
And these are people who look exactly like you and me look, right?
Absolutely.
They flooded the stadium with Ivorians. They didn't honor your ticket. They had Ivorians sitting on the aisle. You couldn't move safely. You know, if Nigeria had lost that final, who knows what would have happened
in that situation? Won. If I had won,
if Ivory Coast had lost,
I would have been in, my safety would have been in serious jeopardy if Nigeria had won that tournament.
So that's the second part. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I'm just saying it goes to the point that you raised the other day.
Yeah. So how we treat each other, people of different countries in Africa, is abysmal. Is absolutely abysmal, right?
I can time out. Let me say this. That final was the only time that Cote d'Ivoire did what they did. That they threw the gates open. You know, see, and why I know is my friend that we went to the stadium together.
Yeah.
I told you now. When we got to the first gate, he looked at me, he's like, this is where we should be scanning our tickets. I think there was no soul there. There was no security there. The gates were open. The guy was like, something is off here. We should be scanning our tickets here. Right? Said because he had watched multiple. I only came for the final. He watched multiple games. And was like, this is where we scanned the last match I came to watch it. What's going on? And at that point, we already worried that, sorry, what's going on here? So you see what I'm trying to say? It got to the point where Cote d'Ivoire was like, we must win this match. Yeah. It is left for the organizers, for CAF, to ensure that this nonsense does not happen. That's the honest truth. It is left for CAF to say, guys, this nonsense must not happen. So going back to the game, Akin, you saw Nwabali and the towel issue. What was the
towel issue? And the banana issue.
And the banana issue.
Don't forget the banana issue. Okay, go on.
What does a Moroccan official, what business do you have going to touch the gear of the opposing team's goalkeeper?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
You don't have any right to do that. None whatsoever. Right? Now, once again, they threw what do you call it? A banana at Nwabale, and he picked it up and he ate it. Now, once again, I told you, I'm not a fan of generalization, right? I cannot say because one fan threw a banana, so I'll just paint everybody with one brush. But these are the kind of things that CAF has not said anything about this stuff since.
That's crazy.
So that tells you that CAF is looking the other way and just saying it's a one-off, right? No, you can't one-off this thing. But because they are looking at this whole situation that these guys have built us out, they've earned the right to misbehave a little bit. Yeah? No, it's not proper. Or, the fans... So even if it is the fan that you're going to punish or do... Let it show, let the whole world know that you are not going to condone this kind of behavior. You are not meant to sweep it under the carpet. The only noise I've heard right now is CAF saying they're going to punish Senegal for walking off the pitch. And I'm you must be joking. Yeah. You cannot punish Senegal only. You must be joking. You must be joking. But that's the only noise we're hearing. So once again, I'm not going to politicize this and say, I know there are some elements there. I know we've heard from North Africans to say, oh, we're not part of you guys. They've applied to, we're not Africans. I've heard that before, but they don't know their history. If they know their history, they will know that they're yarning dust, as I say. They're yarning dust. They're yarning dust. The Arabization, as you've put it, is what turned you to look the way you are. You're black. Your indigens in that territory were black. Blackity black like you and I. So you waking up and saying, oh, we don't want to be part of Africa. No, hell no. Hell no.
Plus you're locked in. But this is how you define a continent. It's a piece of land. You can't move it. You know what I mean? Like Like you are, what makes you African is being on the continent of Africa. You can't move. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. So you can redefine what is the continent of Africa, and your homeland is on the continent of Africa.
It's on the continent of Africa.
And then ethnically, whatever that means, right? Ethnically, or I mean, race is not a real ethnicity. Race is BS, as we know. But racially, you can, if you want to get technical with it. And again, it's interesting that we're talking about Morocco, because for the 5th time on this podcast, I will say again, for those who don't know their geography, they are the westernmost, okay, of the North African countries. They are on the western part of North Africa, right?
Yes.
As far away as you could get in the quote unquote Arab world from the epicenter of the Arab world, which is Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
Right? So the way it works is, religiously, for the sake of Islam, the center of the Arab world is, Saudi Arabia, because of Mecca, Medina, and all that, right?
Yes.
Culturally, the center of the Arab world is Egypt. That's where all the shows are produced. All the TV shows are produced. So Egypt is the center of the Arab world when it comes to, TV, right?
Yeah.
And when you're talking historically, when people were still fighting over what is now referred to as the Middle East, Egypt was always one entity. It was never fragmented. Always. It was never broken up, right? So that's why the leaders or presidents of Egypt had outsized influence even over the Palestinian issue. If you go back to the 50s, if you go back to the 60s, which, too much to talk about. So Egypt remains that. You got to travel a long way to go from Egypt to Morocco. So Morocco is like on the fringes of these old situations.
Actually, if you go up north in Morocco, from Fes up north, there's a town called Ifran. Yeah. Ifran it was snowing in Ifran.
Yeah.
It was, as in, you saw the pictures. That thick in Ifran. So they're just south of France, more
Spain.
or less.
Yeah,
Spain, south of Spain and
Italy.
France. Italy, And Aki, one final point on this before we call this whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I know Morocco, a lot of people, they projected, this is a lovely... I saw all sides of Morocco, right?
Yeah.
I went to the slums of Fes, and I can share the video. I'll share the video. You guys can see. I went to the slums of Fes, and I was even joking when I got there. I was telling my wife that this smells like Inu Loring. Where we
grew up, the interior.
Where we grew up. I'm like, this smells like where we grew up, man. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing, that Fes is, there's old Fes and there's new Fes. Yeah? The new Fes is the city. The old Fes is the old Arabian town that is walled, that has a big gate, very, very high gate, that, the security cordoned and everything, that everybody stays in there. The first university in the world is in that place. Our Cornell University is inside that old Fes that is gated and is whatever. I went there. I saw everything. Right? So everybody believes Morocco. No, it's all, there's a bit of packaging also. Let's just be real. Maybe people are not saying this. There's not even a bit. There is a lot of packaging that has happened, right? It's a carbon copy of almost every society we have in Africa, where there are the elites, right? There's a few percentage and the rest of us. I just wanted to put that out there because a lot of people have been saying all sorts.
I put something out there and we didn't come back to it. The South Africa.
Yes.
So tell us the story of the new, it's not new anymore. It's been a couple years already. The president of CAF, being from South Africa, making a crazy
maybe you tell us the story. Tell us the story.
So just real quick, right? The U17, which I have a lot of issue with the U17. I'll just say it. There's a lot of age cheating that happens, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of age cheating that historically happened, continues to happen to this day. A lot of it.
It has been reduced a bit with the MRI, whatever. So you can't be like 6-7 years above 17.
But you can still be 18 months, 24 months, 36 months.
But what I'm saying, 2-3 years.
Easy. It's 2-3 years, So the if you go back to 1985, when the maiden edition of the U17 World Cup happened, Nigeria won that. And then Nigeria won again in 93. Nigeria won silver in 87. Then got knocked out in the quarters in 89. Ghana won their first one in 91. Nigeria won in 93. So you think about the first 5, West Africa won 3 times.
Yes.
And then since then, Ghana has won multiple. Nigeria has won multiple. What you don't see is those successes translating to the U21s just 4 years later, right?
Yeah.
So Europe and South America dominate the U21s. And then, of course, at the senior level, we know that, Europe and South Africa and South America dominate at the senior levels. So this new president of CAF decided that there's too much power at the U17 level in West Africa. So we're going to have regional qualifying, is it tournaments or groups? Yes. So West Africa can knock each other out. And then that gives the rest of Africa a shot at qualifying. The problem is after you qualify, you're not as good because the teams that got knocked out at the regional level are much better than you. So Yinka, my point is that is a quote unquote black man that looks like us who did that in South Africa. If that had been a North African, you would have seen stuff on social media, playing into this narrative again. Oh, they don't want to be black. They don't want to be African. They hate us and all that. And I'm like, I'm hated everywhere I go. I'm used to this. You know what I tell my non-Nigerian friends when they ask, oh, were you exposed to racism, blah, 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 growing up in Nigeria? And this is what I tell them. I said, if I wanted a loan as a Nigerian who no longer lives full-time in Nigeria, if I wanted a loan from a Nigerian bank, if I walked in with a white friend and an Indian friend, right? I will be denying the loan. My Indian friend will get the loan. They will ask my white friend if he wants to buy the bank. I'm only being slightly facetious, but you understand what I'm saying. So I'm like, I'm discriminated against everywhere I go, including in my country. I was in Nigeria 4 times in 2026. I got guns pulled on me by cops in Nigeria in September. I'm like, for doing absolutely nothing. They stopped the car I was in. They said nothing to the driver. They were not interested in the driver. They were interested in me. I was profiled. That was just in September. That was 3 months ago. So I'm like, I don't need you to be North African before I feel some kind of way. Everywhere I go, I'm a target. Everywhere I go, I'm a target of. That's why I see racism everywhere because it's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? There's a Chris Rock joke that goes with it. It's like he says everything is racism. So I'm like, is North African racism a special kind of racism? I don't know. Maybe. But just north of Morocco in Spain, I was thrown. Me and our boy Aya, that's 2013. We were at a wedding. We were thrown out of a club in Spain. In Almeria, for no good reason. I told you this. So I'm like,
it's everywhere.
Is it the first club I've been thrown out of for being black?
No, and it probably won't be the last.
I don't go to clubs anymore. I'm old. Okay,
but to your point, just to wrap this up, right?
Yeah.
See, all this segregation, all this discrimination. See, there are layers to it. Even within Nigeria, I know Yorubas that hate Hausas. I know Hausas that hate Yorubas. I know Igbos that hate Yorubas. I know Yorubas that hate Igbos. It's just the thought of trying to, explain this thing at times is difficult, which is why I don't bother with all this stuff, right? All I do is simple. I treat people based on how you've interacted with me. I don't generalize. One of my very, very, very good friends, one of my best friends, is Hausa, right? So when I meet people that say, oh, they don't like the Northerners, I'm like, don't use your singular experience to generalize a whole region. That's not how it works, right? I know these things exist. I know tribalism exists. I know racism exists. But I'm not just going to blanket it and say all Arabs, all Igbos. Oh, no. All Yorubas. I would never do that. There are good eggs, there are bad eggs in every single society, community, family, however you want to coin it, or you want to segregate it. So it's true. It is true. So let's just take it easy with these Arabs now. They are very hospitable. That's in summary. I enjoyed my 3 weeks in Fes. In fact, one of the uncles that I know that were there together, he actually said, Yinka, I can come back here when it's not that cold. Me and my friends will just come here and chill.
Just hang out, yeah.
Just come here and hang out. That's in Fes, not even in Marrakesh or Casablanca. In fact, one of the guys, when I told him I'm staying in a hotel, said, why are you spending your money staying in a hotel? When next you come, talk to me. I'll get you villa, I'll get you driver. This is a guy that was the first time I met him. He said, I'll get you a villa, I'll get you a car, I'll take care of you. Do you understand? But when he got onto that match, Nigeria-Morocco, that hospitality ended and is limited to that's the truth. It ended. Let's be real. Let's be real. It ended. But when the game finished, everybody went back. I mean, the third place match you saw now, the Moroccans came to the stadium to support Nigeria because they don't like Egypt.
That's crazy.
Like Egypt, and they don't like Algeria. In fact,
that's crazy.
Do you know that there's no direct flight between Algeria and Morocco?
No, that's insane. That's like no direct flight between Ghana and Nigeria. That's crazy.
Nigeria, there's none.
That's crazy. So how do you go from Algeria to Morocco?
You have to. Is that you go to Spain first? No, either you go to Spain or Paris first, then fly down.
That's insane.
So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So even that we are classifying as Arabs, in Northern African Arabs, they don't like themselves.
Oh God.
Anyway,
that's crazy. So unfortunately, this would not be the last time we talk about this.
Yes.
So we still have to bring a guest to give,
yes,
let's call it a Western view of this situation. We still have to talk about the fallout from social media because there's a lot circulating on social media. This last point that you just made just blows my mind. Like I'm sorry that's crazy. And then that's third. And then fourth, Moroccan fans coming into the stadium to support Nigeria over Egypt.
Against Egypt. Yes.
That's insane. That is insane to me. That is insane to me. And it's funny, right? Because I can kind of see it with Nigeria and Ghana. So growing up, you and I growing up in the 80s, we hated Cameroon, right? Because why? Because Cameroon was this tiny country that we thought Nigeria could annex any day. Still can till today, okay? If they wanted to. No, literally, Cameroon, it reached one state in Nigeria. Cameroon is tiny, right? And they used to whoop that behind every time they played Nigeria in major tournaments, okay, in the 80s. And then it was Ghana in the 90s and 2000s, And honestly, I don't know if I think I've said this to you before. I was in the stadium in South Africa when Uruguay and Ghana happened. I didn't feel anything. Everybody that was not Uruguayan was crying and weeping. I'm like, this is fine. I'm like, they go home. I'm like, if they die, they die. I'm like, I felt nothing, Yinka. I felt nothing. But if I had been Arab, and I was saying that against Ghana, I would be considered racist. But honestly,
Absolutely.
I'm like, and I was sitting with my fam. I was sitting with my sister's then fiance, now husband. Two of my brothers were there. Everybody I was with was like, Ghana. I'm like, why?
So you see my point now.
I did not root for Ghana at all.
If anybody interacts with you, they will say, but in fact, your siblings were rooting for Ghana.
They were all rooting for Ghana. They were all like, I'm like, why? You know?
So let's stop the generalization. The Arabs,
oh my God.
Okay? And you can double check this. You can Google it. There's no direct flight from Morocco to Algeria.
That's crazy.
They shut the airspace maybe 2020 or 2019. No direct flight. You have to go either to Tunisia or you go to Paris, come back, or you go to Spain, come. You can't fly direct.
Inka, that's crazy on so many fronts. But on that note, we need to move on. Thank you, Inka. That was great. Okay, so we're gonna do. Last week I said breeze through the top 5 leagues. This week I'm gonna say double breeze. But if I may, we're gonna start with Ligue 1. But something happened when Olympique Marseille played Lens, and Marseille were home. You were watching it. I was watching it. We didn't talk before the game started, but we were both watching. And you know why I was watching. You watch because you're a crazy man who watches everything. I only watch because Nwaneri, 18-year-old Arsenal player, Nigerian kid, was making his debut. He had just gotten to France like 2 days before, I believe. And he started and he scored a signature Ethan goal, and I loved it. And I wish him nothing but the best. I want him to do amazing things and come back to Arsenal and beast next year. So what else do you want to say about that game or about Ligue 1?
So it's surprising the way Marseille marketed this boy's arrival, right? That game was all about him, frankly. And in fact, I thought they were going to play him and Greenwood together. They actually, Azebi, he benched Greenwood and started Ethan.
Aubameyang didn't start.
Aubameyang too was on the bench. Yeah. But luckily he had a good game. Scored.
He had an amazing game.
It looked assured. PSG won, by the way. Very lucky goal. They should have drawn or lost that game.
Who were they playing? Was it Auxerre or did I mix that up?
Yeah, away to Auxerre.
I saw some of that. Yeah, I saw some of that.
Yeah, away to Auxerre. And now PSG are now top of the table. The top of the table because Lens were first before, but Marseille beat them. So PSG are now on 45, Lens on 43, Marseille on 38. And I guess that's
Marseille is getting closer. Maybe Nwaneri will deliver. Maybe he'll deliver the championship to them. You never know. If you're great, you're great. You know, if you're good enough, you're old enough. Let me stop.
It's better you stop.
No, I love that kid. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, if anyone has never watched this kid play, just watch him. It doesn't matter who he's playing against. Like, it is one of the most like physically balanced specimens I've ever seen. Like, again, I'm not saying he's as good as Messi. I don't want anyone to come at me. But that's how you see Messi was completely left-sided. I'm not talking about what left or right. I'm talking about balance as a specimen, as a physical specimen. The way he moves. And then the things he's already perfect at, like that signature, to have a signature way of scoring. We saw him at 17, he had it already. We saw him at 16, he had it already.
He had it already. So his development needs minutes and it needs game management and knowing how do I put this now? How to pick. You see Messi, for example. Messi pick your spots. Messi will walk around and he just scan, and which he did well for that goal, because that goal, he came into midfield. He was in the center circle when he got the ball. Ran down, nobody, first defender juked the guy, then bent it. So those are the kind of things that he needs to learn in this game. And also he then needs to, I don't like all this, I can play multiple positions. I've told you this before, right? You need to pick a position and be great at it. Yeah?
I think he has.
This is what he needs to find out.
I think he has. I think he has, and thankfully his club agrees. Right? His actual club agrees. He's a midfielder. Right? In today's world, there's no number 10s anymore. We talked about this. So he's a right 8. Right? So I'm glad that they made that intention known. They went and spent 60 million pounds on a backup to Bukayo Saka, where last year he was the backup to Bukayo Saka. Yeah. Meanwhile, he scored 10 goals last year. It was mostly in the cups. But if you're scoring 10 goals at 17, your future looks really, really bright. Doesn't matter what tournaments they're coming in.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. Anyway, so let's move on.
Breeze, Bundesliga, anything happen worth reporting?
Yes. So Bundesliga, you said I shouldn't. I don't gamble, and you said I should get off gambling.
You should not gamble. You should not. You cannot gamble. You're too cautious.
If I had gambled today, I'll have made a lot of money, right? You know why? Yeah. Because the omen. When they say things kind of foretell what's about to happen. Bayern lost at home.
Everybody lost at home today.
Bayern lost at home yesterday. Then today, everybody lost at home. And I messaged you before the game. I said, this one that there are away wins. Am I lying? Is that not what I said?
No, you're right. I wasn't worried.
This one that everybody is losing at home.
I was not worried.
I'm worried about this game.
I was not worried.
You went into a diatribe abusing me, saying that I'm a troll.
I said you're a troll. I said you're a troll.
Well, going back to Bundesliga, Bayern lost at home, and it was a full strength Bayern team. Yeah, which was surprising. But they lost
in the league.
First loss in the league.
Okay.
First loss in the league.
Second loss overall because they lost to Arsenal.
They lost to Arsenal.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I'm not sure if
they haven't lost in any cups. They're still in all the cups.
They're in all the cups. So that's the second one.
Yeah, second loss. They've
second
drawn.
One. So Arsenal and this one. Yeah. I think that's the only thing that happened. Dortmund won their game. So the gap is closer, but like I said, I don't see any. That's just a blip.
Okay.
Just a blip.
All right. Let's go to Serie A. So Inter coming off of a home defeat, 1-3 home defeat to Arsenal in midweek. Have they played, and if they have, how did they respond?
It was a funny game. At home to Pisa. Pisa are the last on the table, and at San Siro, Pisa scored 2 goals. Pisa were leading 2-0, but Inter recovered and they won. Is it eventually 5-2 or 6-2? I can't even remember. So they won 6-2. So they're still top of the table now with 5 points. Milan drew with Roma this evening. The game just ended not too long ago. Milan drew with Roma, so there's a 5-point gap now. Juventus wiped Napoli.
That's crazy.
3-0. That Turkish young man, I keep mentioning his name.
Keep talking about
Kenan Yildiz is going to be a problem. Whoever gets him in the summer, you are getting a potential superstar. Right?
He may stay. He may stay in Italy.
Nah, I don't think so.
We'll see.
I don't think he'll stay. Okay, but we'll see. But yeah, he scored again today, and he had a very good game. Juventus beat Napoli. So top 4 in Italy is Inter 52, Milan 47, Roma 43, Napoli 43. 9 points between Inter and Napoli. Not good.
You know what that means?
Conte is fired very soon.
No, he will walk. He will walk this summer. That's what it means.
Either way, walk, fired, whatever the case. He's no longer. He's gonna work.
There will be a press conference in March, Yinka. There will be a press conference in March where he throws everybody under the bus. He throws his toys out of his pram, and then he's out in the summer. That's what he always started.
Actually, he has already started. So there's been news about people complaining about the way he interacts. People just complain about him already. So the murmurs have started already. So it might work.
Yeah.
They might walk by the console.
I mean, he's a genius. He's a genius tactician.
Genius. I'm telling
you. But if you need a rescue mission, that's your guy. If you need a builder, that's not your guy. You know, and it's unfortunate, but that's who he is. He can't change who he is. It's not, it doesn't build for the future. It will rescue you and take you to places you haven't been in 5-10 years, and then you'll be out. Okay. La Liga, Barca were playing earlier today. Okay, tell us.
They won 3-0. They won 3-0. Madrid also won yesterday, so it's still a 1-point gap. Atletico Madrid also won, but they're 8 points off Barca, 7 points off Real Madrid. The team that I'm actually very surprised about is Villarreal. Villarreal, quite good in the league, horrible in the Champions League. Actually, they're second to the bottom in Champions League. They've only drawn one game. They've lost every other one. Right? How can somebody, a top four in La Liga, be bottom of the Champions League? It's bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's bad. Anyway, everyone will tell you La Liga is crap at this point. So
he's only been saying that for like 2 seasons. Before that, it was EPL is crap.
But
so anyway.
It's scope mechanism. I tell you, it's scope. We know these things. It's scope mechanism. But anyway, let's move on.
Okay, so I want to pause. Instead of going to the EPL, let's quickly talk about the Champions League. Just anything that happened in the past, in the midweek, that we want to talk about, and then we'll finish with the EPL.
So I think we'll do it this way. Let's just quickly do UCL together in terms of what happened, and next week. Next week, because next week is the final game. So all games are on Wednesday at the same time. No Tuesday, Wednesday. City lost away in Norway to Bodo Glimt. It was and after the game they said their captains agreed to refund the travel and accommodation or so.
I thought it was the club.
No, they said it's the captains, not the club. Of the 347 fans. Actually, let me get to the juicy part. The 347 fans that traveled to Norway. I'm like, is that all? Is that all? That's why the captains can say we'll take it out of our pockets now. If it had been proper club that had proper fans that were traveling, it's not 347 people that will be traveling to Norway.
Because there's no Man City fans outside of Manchester. Do you know any?
Exactly. I don't know any. You know, and they're even the minority in Manchester. Even though Manchester United have been messing up for quite a while, and they're just, I'm
not sure that there are not more Liverpool fans in Manchester than there are Man City fans.
It's possible.
I'm just saying.
Even there might be more Arsenal fans in Manchester than City. There might be. Okay.
There might be more Leeds fans in Manchester
than
Manchester City fans. Oh Lord.
Anyway, so there are some clubs that are in danger of missing out of the next round, or in danger of having to play 2 extra games that they don't necessarily need to be partaking in. It's just 2 extra games that you could have, avoided. So couple of them. Napoli is out of the playoff zone. That's the number 1 on that list. That's surprising. I've already talked about Villarreal, and I also talked about Eintracht Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt is supposed to be one of the better teams in the Bundesliga. They are languishing in 33rd position out of 36. Villarreal 35. That's bad. Benfica is another quote-unquote big name. They're in 29th, right?
Who is the coach of Benfica? Say it.
Who's the coach of Benfica? I don't even know who's the coach of Benfica again. Who's the coach
Jose
of Benfica?
Mourinho.
I thought it was Sporting Lisbon. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. It's Benfica. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I thought for a minute it was Lisbon. No. Apologies. Yes, you're right. No. It's Benfica. They might not. There's 6 points. If they win and other results go in their favor, they might make it into the playoffs. Right? Yeah. Now, there are some teams that are in the playoffs right now that need to be careful. Barcelona is 9th. They're in the playoffs as of today. Yeah? City in the playoffs. Atletico Madrid in the playoffs. Inter, playoffs. Juve, playoffs. Not good. Right? Those clubs, But if you look at the other clubs that are in the playoffs, if they get favorable, matchups, they should be able to, because there are some other weak teams there, right?
Okay.
But if you look at 1 to 8th, Aki, Spurs are 5th in Champions League. So there are 5 out of the 6 English clubs in top 8.
It doesn't mean anything.
5.
It does not mean anything.
No. Okay.
Go on.
You can't say it does not mean anything. It does not mean as much, right? Not that it doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Because do you want to tell me that the people in here are not interested in avoiding playoff? They are. You get what I'm saying? They're trying to avoid being in the playoffs. So for these guys to be in there, I don't want us to limit it and just trivialize it and say, nah, it's nothing. It's not nothing. But is it the main thing? No. But at the same time, it's not nothing. It's somewhere in between. Yeah. And I'm not saying this in the sense of, you have there are 4 Spurs is so position. No, that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is you can't be a Barcelona, you're 9th. You can't be a Madrid, Atletico, Inter, Juve, and you're in the playoffs where you have a team like Spurs. And I even add City to it. City is the only English club that is not in the first 8.
Okay, if I may.
Go ahead.
So, you are what you consistently do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, all these 5 clubs you're talking about.
Yes.
Villa are in very fine form. And
Villa are not in the Champions League, by the way.
No. Oh, okay. Sorry. So, who are the 5? Wait, remind me.
So it's Arsenal. Villa in the Europa League or whatever.
Oh, okay. Okay, tell me.
Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs, Newcastle, and Chelsea.
Sorry, I was confusing Villa and Newcastle. That's on me. And they played today, by the way. They played today, and Villa beat Newcastle today.
And Villa beat Newcastle, okay. Yeah.
So at Newcastle. Anyway, so my thing is, because Spurs is in that topic, I can't take it seriously, even though my club is at the top. Because Spurs are not good. They can beat anybody on their day. But if I'm Barcelona and they say you need to play one English club, choose one over 2 legs, I'm choosing Spurs. You know what I'm saying? I'm choosing Spurs. I'm not choosing Newcastle. I'm not choosing Arsenal. I'm not choosing, I'm choosing Spurs. And then I go home to take a long nap. Because I think I will be okay, over 2 legs. That's all I'm saying. So you're right. Yeah. It's not everything. It's a little
I get
something.
What you're saying. Yeah. I agree with you. By the Spurs argument, I totally agree with you. You look at them and you're like,
that's all I had to say. That's all.
What are you guys doing here? You don't belong here, right?
They're about to fire their coach.
And to be fair to them, they've had fair their fixtures. They didn't really have as many tough games, even as an Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
And they've been lucky. So I watched the Spurs Dortmund game. Dortmund had a red card, which in my opinion was a bit harsh, right? All I just realized is Spurs find it easier when they are playing in Europe. This is the honest truth. And Europe is Europe. Forget that they had the favor of the draws and everything. They find it easier in Europe than when they play at home or when they play in the EPL, right? They find it easier. That's the honest truth. But hey, so that's the Champions League. I'll just wait out. We just wait out and see the games that will.
That's fair.
The people that will make it and those that will have to play. But the key games to look out for, Akin, there's a PSG Newcastle. If Newcastle lose, they might get out of the guaranteed positions.
Yeah.
There is Napoli Chelsea. It's critical for them too. If Chelsea lose, they might get out of the top 8. And there is City Galatasaray. City needs to win that. Galatasaray also needs to win. So that's going to be Osimhen is coming to City, Manchester. So we'll see what that game looks like. And I think Barcelona which game is Barcelona playing again? Nah, I can't remember. They are home to Copenhagen, so Barcelona should be fine. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
Good.
Inka. So the last thing we need to talk about is the EPL, where
Yes, sir.
absolutely nothing happened this weekend. Absolutely nothing happened. All right. So I think the marquee game of the weekend was Man U going into the Emirates Stadium playing Arsenal
Yes.
a
Yes.
week after beating City. Where was that game? Was it at
Old
City?
Trafford.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it was at home. So they were home.
Yeah. They were at
Yeah.
home.
But now they're
Yeah.
going on the road, and now they've
Mm-hmm.
won back to back against the two
Yes.
best, by record, the two best
Yeah.
teams in England.
Yeah.
Like I said, the first game of the season for Man U was home
Mm-hmm.
against Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
You and I saw it
Mm-hmm.
two completely
Mm-hmm.
different ways. You thought they were the
Mm-hmm.
better side. I thought there was no danger of Arsenal ever losing that game. I think it was a
Yeah.
1-0 Arsenal win. I thought there was no
Mm-hmm.
danger of Arsenal ever losing. And then
Mm-hmm.
today, it's so funny because, I think it was Enro that was texting. I was like, hey, what happened this was at halftime. And, I said he wanted to know who was the better side, if you remember this. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, Man U have been disciplined and structured, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
their goalkeeper, though, has had to make
Mm-hmm.
I said two good saves, one of them maybe even great, right? The
Yeah.
one that from
Yeah.
the header was directly at
Mm-hmm.
him, 1 or 2 inches, either way, that's a goal, right?
Yeah.
But that's off of 20 minutes at the beginning of complete domination. And then, a moment of madness where Arsenal just gave them the ball,
Yeah.
which all of this we'll talk about. But there wasn't like a glaring, Arsenal had more possession, but I didn't feel like they played well that first half.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, Man U they're not a great defensive side, but they played defense today. I don't know how to explain it. They were structured. You had people who were not used to defending, but they were defending effectively. Saka was the best Arsenal player, but the primary defender on him had a really good game. Luke Shaw had but he
Mm-hmm.
was getting help. So
It was getting help
it was
constantly from Dogu.
getting help constantly. Saka did what he had to do for the most part, but they also really played well defensively,
Yeah.
and their goalkeeper swept everything up that he had to sweep up, had a really good game. But
Yeah.
in contrast to what everybody is saying, this was still a 1-goal game. It was a great 1-goal that came in the 87th or so minute, or I think, or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's going to tell me this is the end of the road for Arsenal and this is salvation for Man U. But it was a 1-goal game. It was a hell of a goal after their second goal was already a hell of a goal. And their first goal was handed on a platter. So I'm like, I just want to put that out there. I know you have a lot to say. And I'm like, am I crazy for not panicking? Am I crazy for not thinking this is bigger than what it is? And then when I look at the table, I'm like, this is Arsenal's third loss. The two rivals next to them have lost 5 times already. One of them just lost to this same team.
Yeah.
They don't have to play Villa again. They have to go to City. Right now, if they match every result of City's and lose at City, they're champions. So I'm like, where is all this stuff coming from? Yinka, please speak.
So I'm sure we've talked about this in the past. It's PTSD from your Arsenal fans, right? They've been through this too many times, right? And it's their insecurities that is transpiring. That's what you're saying, yeah. But let me talk about the game first, right?
Okay, go for it.
Everything you said, I agree with. But let's give proper kudos to United. Yeah, they played a good game, right? They played a very good game. There's the same lineup that played City, same tactics they played against City. Yeah. But in this case, what then happened was that first goal that they scored is where that goal kind of sucked the life out of Arsenal. So from when they scored till the beginning of the second half, till Dogu scored, right? Arsenal were rattled, right? If Dogu hits that 10 times, he doesn't score 10 times again. He's not going to... Do you understand? Same thing with the Cunha goal. Two absolute worldies, right? So, in my perspective, what I saw was one coach was about control and the other coach was about chaos. Yeah? Arteta was about control. Carrick was about chaos. On the day, chaos won. Yeah? It could have gone either way. Yeah? I can't remember Raya making any save. Almost every shot they had on target scored. But I can remember their own goalkeeper.
Or
everything or on the platter of gold. Yeah, exactly.
But he touched it. Fingertips. It touched the one-on-one. Fingertips. No, he did. Watch it again.
Oh, he did.
So,
I didn't even see that.
Fingertips. Yeah.
I didn't see that. So, but that is the tactics that they came and they executed it, and I'm happy for them. A good United is good for the league. Yeah. Do you understand? And a resurgent United. Yeah, roll your eyes. Well, resurgent United is good for the league. No. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Go ahead.
I'll be honest with you, right? So this formation that they are playing right now, I told you last week, they're playing people in the proper position. They're not trying to force everybody into play. Mount doesn't have to play. Ugarte doesn't have to play. What's his name? Shesko does not have to play because we want to play counter-attacking football, right? Cunha doesn't have to start because I need that front line the way it is. So Carrick is this formation I like. But you're not going to play counter-attack against everybody. Do you understand? You are not going to be at home to a Brentford or at home to a Leeds and say, I will sit back and hit Leeds on the counter. Even the people in Old Trafford will boo you. The fans in Old Trafford will boo you, right? So it's interesting to see how the team then evolves. But as for today, right, anybody that says, oh, they didn't deserve the 3 points, no, forget it. Either side could have won. Those two worldies, one of those goals is enough to... In fact, one of those goals, I'll give you the 3 points. It was something else. Those two goals, they were something else. Now, what the point I want to now raise is, I've said this 1,000,001 times, right? On a given day, on any given day, anybody can beat anybody. Now, it's not a matter of who is most consistent, right? And who will avoid having bad days, yeah? Because if they played the same game multiple times, the results will not necessarily be... Even if City play United again, right? That's not what's necessarily going to happen. So it goes back to my point that the gap between number one, Arsenal, and Wolves, right, is not that big. On a good day, anybody can beat anybody. You just need to bring your A game, right? Now, the fact that United don't have any midweek commitments, it helped them, right? The fact that Arsenal has played 4 away games in 4 different tournaments, right? I tell you this thing, it's mentally sapping at times, right? And which is why I said, you kind of knocked me a bit when I mentioned this. That Inter game, I would have forfeited it. I would have. And I am saying it now again. The last game that we're about to play in the Champions League is against Kairat. I'm not sure that's my sister-in-law's name or a football club's name.
Kairat has 1 point. In Arsenal have 21 points. They have 1 point.
Aki, I will take the academy players, the AFL under 21 team, and play them in that game.
So I think you might get your wish. But Yinka, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I think, what I said last week was, if you think, and then I said it on text too, if you're shocked at the lineup at the San Siro against Inter Milan, then you don't know your coach. You don't know Arteta.
And I agree with you. You said so.
Arteta is never, ever going to concede any games. Yeah.
Aki, so here's the only counter that I have. If you now want to see this as you giving the players that are not playing enough minutes, right? So if you want to play Eze, if you want to play Noni, if you want to play MLS, but I don't want to see Gabriel in the starting lineup. I don't want to see Saliba in the starting lineup. I sure don't want to see Timber even on the bench.
Are you talking of last week or next week? Which one?
This week.
Oh, okay. No, you're not going to see
that. It's worse than Inter.
You're not going to see that.
That's my point. The midfield should be Nogard. So I know Merino and what's his name? And Rice intentionally got yellow cards. So they will miss.
He brought them in so they could get yellow cards.
They will get a yellow card. So the midweek game should be Nogard, right?
Not at centre back. Not at centre back. At the base of the midfield. Yeah.
At the base of the midfield. Play Nogard, play Eze, play whoever else you want to play. Bring in one young kid or whatever. I don't care. Saka should not even be on the bench.
Shouldn't even dress, I know.
Exactly. So if you are still stubborn and you do this, then you go away to Leeds and you see tired legs, mental focus losing, right? People losing mental focus, then people will start looking at you to say, guy, come on, man. You can't continue like this.
So Yinka, this is the mental part of the game is a double-edged sword, right? And this is the most sympathetic I've ever been to Arteta, right? I've been very tough on Arteta, but I think he has transformed this club. But we still need to speak the truth when the truth needs to be spoken.
Absolutely.
Yinka, I think as a pundit, we don't mind what's his name, Ferdinand. He says a lot of stuff sometimes, like but he's one of the few Man U greats, because he was a great, that doesn't automatically say the worst things possible about Arsenal. Just being fair, right? It's somewhat fair, right? It's somewhat fair.
Yes.
And he tries to do the right thing. He tries to say the right things. He can't help himself sometimes. When he said, "Look, if Man U called Arteta, he would take the call, like to come and be the coach." He said this 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago after they fired that guy. My point is, Arteta will be the most desirable coach today if there was an opening. And he coaches at my club. So I'm sorry, the man is above reproach. It doesn't mean everything he does, he never makes mistakes. Pep still makes mistakes. Mourinho was making mistakes. Exactly.
I'm not calling for the guy to be fired, right? No.
I know. But you must know the DNA of your guy.
Yes.
Right? It's like telling Prime Mourinho not to play 2 CDMs. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know, it's like telling Prime Mourinho to tell his number 9 not to tackle, not to press, not to fall. You know, no. Everybody on Prime Mourinho's team must play defense, or you sit on the bench right next to him. You have to know his DNA, then go from there. You know, it's like telling Pep to just loosen the strings a little bit, let them have a little bit of fun. No fun over here. It's structure. And Arteta is worse. Arteta doesn't want to see fun. He wants control, like you said. So that's the DNA. Let's walk from. So, but for me, what happens is the players let him down. And I won't pick on Zubimendi, I'll pick on Saliba. It was Saliba and it was coming. There's more, if you look at it now, Saliba is more, mouthy and chesty now. I don't mind it. I think it will help us down the road when we begin to really fall apart. People think we're falling apart now. They haven't been watching. When things really get crazy in March and April, these newly, arrogant Saliba will help. He's one of the guys that will not let us fall completely. We'll probably win this league by like 3 points at the end of the day. People who want to win by 12 points, they have another thing coming.
You're coming closer.
No, but it's the truth. Your first time is always going to be tough. But people don't understand this, right? But you can hold on one second. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Right? What I'm saying is this new Saliba bombs forward and dribbles. It wasn't doing that 2 years ago. It wasn't doing that last year. But unfortunately, it's coming with a lapse in concentration, which started at the Bernabeu last year, and he hasn't cleaned it up. Today, he had that thing where he forgot that Bruno Fernandes was behind him, made the last-ditch tackle, and then the thing with Zubimendi, why did he leave where he was? Why did he give that ball to Zubimendi? Why didn't Zubimendi pass to Rice? We can blame Zubimendi, but it was really on Saliba. Sorry, Inka. Go ahead.
Yeah. So all I'm going to say is Arsenal are still on top of the table, leading with 4 points, right? There are still so many turns, so many drama that will happen
15 games
between now and May. Everybody strap on your seatbelts. There will be some roller coaster things about to happen. Yeah? This is a message to everybody out there, Arsenal fans of football. If you think Arsenal are going to walk this thing easily, you are in for a surprise. If someone had told you, Akin, that Villa will go to Newcastle and beat Newcastle at home, would you have said that's possible?
No, not this Villa. I thought they were tired.
Precisely my point.
Yeah, I thought they were tired.
Precisely my point.
And Newcastle were on the ascendancy,
Exactly.
Some of the, not this Villa. And not this Newcastle.
Precisely my point. No. And remember, Villa played on Thursday. They played, was it Fenerbahce or so? Tough game for them away, which they won. And I thought Newcastle played at home in the Champions League, rested some players. So Newcastle will be fresher, Villa went there, smacked them in their mouth, collected their lunch money.
Buendia again. Buendia
again. And what's his name? And Watkins. So my point again is, there will be turns, twists and turns from now till May. There will most likely be a point where Arsenal and some people will be on the same points.
It's possible. It's possible. I don't think it will happen, but it's possible. Yinka, so here's what I think will happen. So Villa are not going to be the champions. I'm not a betting man. You're not a betting man, but I can tell you right now, they are not going to be the champions. Okay. So again, when I look at plus 25, plus 26, and plus 10, and that plus 10 is after 2 clean goals today, you're not going to be the champion. Right? So that's just it. Let's leave Villa aside. Good for them. I'm happy for Emery. God bless all of them. I hope everybody gets a raise and they live a good life. It's been great. You can leave now. City, because City can lose at Old Trafford, follow that up with an absolutely abysmal Champions League performance, and their all-world striker is a non-factor in either game, because they brought him on in the second game too, right? They brought him on.
He started the second game.
Okay, they took him off
It's the Wolves game that he was benched.
Thank you. And then they brought him on later. Okay.
And they brought him on later.
So they had 3 games where they lose 0-2, they lose 1-3, and then they win 2-0 comfortably at home against Wolves.
Yes.
Right? It was pretty comfortable, right, at home.
Yes.
So I will remind you, Yinka, I want to say it was 2018, 2019. Klopp and Pep neck, neck and neck. And I think City ended up winning by 1 or 2 points. That was one of the 96-point wins. I think it was 96 to 95 or 96 to 94. They had a stretch. I don't remember what month. I want to say December, but it may have been March. Don't quote me. They had a stretch where for 3 games, I think they actually may have lost 3 games. I think they may have lost 3 games. And they came back and still won. So my thing is, when we tell the stories of all these great achievements, we that's why it's the league, I mean, you literally see like 3 seasons, like 3 climate seasons in the course of one football season. That's how hard it is to win the league, right? You start in the summer, you go to autumn, fall, right? You're in the spring, you're in the spring, and then depending on where you live, the summer may have almost officially started by the time the season's over. So you almost see 4 seasons. This is the entire year. It's 10 months, Yinka. So, and the problem now, Yinka, is Arsenal in the last 9 points available have taken 2.
Yes.
Home against Liverpool. Ultimately winnable game. They did not win it. You know, that was a good point for Liverpool. Away to Nottingham Forest, who are doing better with this new coach, but also ultimately winnable. You did not win. You didn't lose. You pick up 1 point. That's 4 points dropped. But today, honestly, today was not the difference between 3 points and 0 because they were never going to get that 3 points. I think by the 51st minute when it was 2-1 on, Arsenal were never going to get the 3 points. So really, this was the difference between are you getting 0, are you getting 1? And there was a 2.5 minute sequence where they thought they were getting 1 point and feeling good about themselves. And I was thinking, oh, I hope we don't go get the third goal and get caught on the counter. I was thinking about your point about this team being set up, this Man U team being set up. I didn't know they were going to beat us with a worldie. I thought they were going to beat us with a counter-attack goal. Yeah. You know, so this is really Arsenal missed out on 1 point today, not on 3. It's shameful that they're home and they didn't fight for 3 points. But it's really the difference between being up 5 points in the race or being up 4 because they didn't show up today. And it happens.
I get what you're saying, and I probably agree with you. All I'm saying, and for anybody that is listening, all I'm saying is there will be more of this between now and May. Right?
For everybody or for Arsenal? Arsenal cannot really. Okay, because Arsenal can't really afford more. They can't afford to drop another 7 points out of 9. They can't.
Aki, it is going to happen for everybody. So you think this resurgent United team is now not going to go and cause problems for people? You think City can be consistent? So 2 weeks from now is Liverpool City that will play at Liverpool, right? And I think next weekend City is going to Spurs. Spurs have been crap, but every time they play
beat City though. Spurs always beat City.
Precisely my point. So that game can come around and City can spank them 6-0.
Yeah.
So what I'm telling you is there's too many moving parts for anybody to look at any club and have that entitlement that I'm supposed to get 3 points. 3 points in the Premier League these days, almost na war. That's all I'm saying. It's war.
Okay.
It is fair. War. The same Nottingham Forest went to Brentford. They beat Brentford today.
They did. 2-0.
2-0. And if based on form, would they have said that would be the case?
No.
Hell no. Sunderland went to, where did they go? West Ham also. Without Granit Xhaka. They lost. That's you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man United, this same United struggled to beat Wolves, right? Wolves gave City a decent game. It was just that they lost concentration. And so I'm saying anybody that sits there and is being entitled and believe, Arsenal should just stroll. Yeah, nobody ain't strolling nowhere.
Yeah.
And in between these games, so for example, the second leg of the Chelsea Carabao Cup is coming up next week.
I know.
So it is Kairat away to Leeds, then Chelsea. But and I think there's a 2 weeks break where we do nothing also.
Yinka, what I don't want to hear.
They should go to Dubai again.
They should go to Dubai. Or Fez, Morocco. Try something. Go to Africa, even if they don't think they're Africans. No, but Yinka, what I don't want to hear from Arsenal fans is the bedwetting. I can't do it. Because that's not how I live my life. Yinka, they're killing themselves now ahead of Leeds away. Apparently, Leeds away is the biggest game of the season. I'm like, since when? No, it's not. It's what is likely to happen. Hold on, Yinka. What is likely to happen is the same thing that typically happens when number 1 goes to number whatever they are. That's what is most likely to happen, Yinka. Please go ahead.
Aki, every game is the game of the season for Arsenal.
And most times Arsenal plays like every game is the game of the season.
So I'm not knocking anybody that is saying that, right? Every game is a game of the season for Arsenal until you get a silverware, right? every game should be treated as such, except this Kyra game that is coming, this whatever. Because apart from that game, every other game from now to the end of the season should be treated as such.
You know what you're going to see. Again, I'm not a betting man. Can I predict right now that Raya is going to start that game? Even though you shouldn't.
The Kyra game, frankly, I don't care. At this point,
but you should. You should. It's a mentality thing. Because guess what?
Yes.
You have the most expensive goalkeeper in the world. Is our number 2. He's still the most expensive goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah.
At 72 million pounds. Is our number 2. He's a Spanish international. No longer, but one-time Spanish international. He should be able to play this game.
No, he will.
Yinka, I hope you're right. I'm not sure you're right.
If Arteta was brave enough to play him Chelsea Carabao Cup first leg,
but he's always played the Carabao Cups. He played the Carabao Cup, and they kept him in.
The Carabao Cup lineup. That was the first time he had a full squad starting that match. Carabao Cup games are left for the
I know, for the kids. I know, but he kept. You're right. He kept Kepa.
But he kept Kepa. So Kepa should keep on Wednesday. The Leeds game, and here's the thing about Leeds, right? Mm-hmm. Leeds are home, they are lions. Leeds away from home, they are kittens, right? Because if there's any stadium in Europe, Elland Road is one of the most hostile.
You always say that, yeah.
I always do, because that's the truth. Mm-hmm. You see, it is Liverpool's what's the name of that their stand again? Liverpool's place, right? Anfield and Elland Road.
Yeah, the Cup at Anfield.
Yeah. St. James's Park, Anfield, Newcastle, Elland Road. Yeah. You don't want to go to those places. That is where the fans are actually proper 12th men, right? Leeds away is a tricky one. Liverpool lost there. I think City also lost there, I believe.
But do you believe Arsenal are going to win the league? That is the only inquiry that matters.
I want Arsenal to win the league, and I believe they will. You know why? Because they have been the most consistent so far, right?
Okay.
But based on your logic again, and which is fair enough. Empirically, they've proven that up to now, right? They've been the most consistent. But form is a very, very flimsy thing. Yeah,
that's true.
And you can get the yips. You can get the yips, and all of a sudden you're shooting, and nothing is working for you. It happens in football. So, which is why I said the mental fortitude is more critical to me right now than any other thing. Yeah.
Okay. If I may, we need to wrap. I'm going to say this, and then hopefully it doesn't lead to another 5 minutes of talking. Okay.
I'm done.
So here is the thing. Like the kids say, yesterday's price is not today's price, right? Things have changed, right? And this is what I mean. The man who made the mistake today was not here for the bedwetting worthy collapses of the last 3 seasons. It wasn't here for 22-23, 23-24, 24-25, right? Yeah. You cannot tell me that in half a season it's been injected with the Arsenal virus.
No. So I don't even blame him for what happened today.
People make mistakes, frankly, and Yinka, after the goalkeeper, is played the most minutes of Arsenal players. Right? Yeah. So maybe some of that is tired legs. Maybe some of it is just it happens. At the end of the day, you've conceded 17 times in 23 games. You're still the best defense in the league. Over a whole season, that would take care of itself. So I'm not too worried about that. But here is what I'm worried about. I'm worried about Arsenal fans who thought, Jesus is coming back. Jesus will score. I'm like, what did I say last week, Yinka? Jesus is who he's always been. It will score in bunches. It will frustrate a ton. So I'm like, this Gyökeres that you people don't like anymore is still the best striker at the club. Let him find his form. We've seen Jesus. We've refused to win leagues with Jesus. He hasn't won anything for us. It's the truth.
So I'm not too worried about that. Right? You're trusting your coaching staff based on the opponent that you have to field whoever you feel is best right? To take care of the match. That's not my. I'm not going to say, oh, this particular player, why aren't you playing this player? No, I'm just saying generally from a mentality standpoint, what Arsenal need to overcome from a mentality standpoint is way higher than what they need to overcome from a physical standpoint. And this kind of games that you saw today, there will be many, 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 many more to come in the future. You have to be mentally prepped. If you're not going to win it, right, then don't lose it. Simple.
And they almost didn't lose it. Almost.
Exactly. Almost didn't.
It is what it is. You know?
It is what it is.
So for me, let's not analyze the result because with 3 minutes to go, it was 2-2. You know, you could have said it was undeserved. That's fine. But Arsenal could have come out thinking, we scored first, we scored late, it's 2-2, we move on. And they were this close, just like the Liverpool game at Anfield. You know,
all the games Arsenal has lost this season, right?
Last minute or close to the last minute.
Last minute is 85th minute upwards. Last minute,
but they've also scored more late than anybody else.
Anybody else.
You know, so this is why I think they're gonna.
It's all good, Aki.
Yeah,
it's all good. Aki.
Okay,
it's just that our brethren, you know the way they are. Your fellow Arsenal fans,
bedwetting.
PTSD.
Arsenal
it's really,
fans.
really affecting them. It's really affecting them. Anyway.
Okay.
So I think we've exhausted the time that we have today.
By like 30 minutes.
Nah, we knew we were going to
do we have a
donkey?
Do we have a donkey? Arsenal fans.
One thing before we move on. I'm sorry, I need to bring this up. We saw something over the weekend that we'd not seen in like forever.
What?
Where a Premiership ref was sent to VAR.
Ooh.
Right? And the guy went there, looked at it, and was like, I stick to my on-field decision. Guess what? I know I might get stick for this, I'll say it. The guy, that's his debut, right? And he's not a white man
from Nottingham. From Manchester.
Or Manchester. Or Liverpool.
Ding. We don't know what he sounds like. So we don't know where he's from. Where did they ship him from?
Is Arab. Yes.
Because it looks black to me. Again. Yeah. I'm not black. I'm Arab.
Yes.
A lot of Arabs are black. A lot of Arabs are black, Yinka.
Exactly. That's how I said his name is
this man had a fade. This man had a fade.
Yeah, his name is Halil, or I feel. I can't remember what his name is.
Like he got his hair cut from Lagos. He had a fade.
Yes, the guy went to the monitor, looked Darren England in the eye, and told him, F off. Nope. That's what he told him. Nope, it's not going to happen. The same Darren England, today again on VAR, gave a penalty for something that, in my opinion, the guy's hand was here. But this particular ref, like you said, it fits the profile. He went... He went there and he felt intimidated and said, "Oh, it's a penalty." And I'm like, "But this is what we just saw yesterday."
Yeah,
we saw yesterday, and this was worse. Anyway,
now,
maybe Darren England is my donkey of the week.
Maybe now, in fairness, for yesterday, you thought it was a penalty. I thought it wasn't, and the reason I thought it wasn't was the arm was exactly where it should have been. In making a football play, there is no other place. When you're running and you're about to strike, there's no other place your arm could be. That was why I thought it was not a penalty.
So why was overruled? So, you know, the guy went like that. His arm was like this. The ref said the reason why the ref stopped his decision, it was a proximity rule. It was like,
there's nowhere else to go. There's nowhere else to go.
So it's not as if the proximity rule or why he said, you know what, I don't think this is a clear and obvious error. I'm sticking to my decision. Simple. This Crystal Palace on 2 today, exactly the same thing. Proximity rule. The hand was actually here. But Darren England said if he had not touched the ball, it was going to be a goal. That was what Darren England said. And that was why the VAR now said, yes, penalty. Because it was like this.
Denial of that's tough. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is rubbish. Frankly.
Yeah, but that's not the rule. You know?
That's not the rule. I didn't know when that became a rule. Anyway, so Darren England is my donkey of the week.
Okay.
That's how I'll rest this.
All right. You can take us out.
I was going to say you should help me. I've spoken too much.
Okay, I'll do it. Let's just, in the interest of time. So thank you for listening for 95 going on 96 minutes. We appreciate it. We do need you to subscribe on YouTube, like, share on all other platforms whenever you see it come up. If you're old like Inka and you only do Facebook, share it on Facebook, share it by email, text it to your friends, text on WhatsApp, whatever it is you do. But help us grow this thing. We appreciate it. Thank you, Inka. Thank you, everybody. We will be back next week and try to keep it to an hour like we've been doing. And until then, Inka, I'll say goodbye.
Thanks, people. Thank you very much. See you all next week. Bye.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Goodbye.